Ladies and gentlemen, tonight you have absolutely no homework. I want you to live your life. So what we are going to do is at the end of class today, you are going to collect your assignments for next week. So we're going to grade our essays first. Is that okay with you? Yeah. Okay. So in order to be successful for today's instruction, you need to have your essay that is due to me, the planning, and you need a blank sheet of paper. So in order to be successful today, you need your essays, your planning, and a blank sheet of paper. Please have that out. Nicole, what do you got?
Is it okay if, like, because yesterday we planning groups, but is it okay if, like, by home we try to do a plan of it?
Yeah, of course. It doesn't need to follow your plan. I just want, guys, please listen. When we plan essays, it is for you to practice actually putting down your thoughts and coming up with a strategy. Yes, if you vary from the plan in your actual essay, that's totally fine. I do. You see, I don't write everything exactly what we have, but it's the brainstorming component that is key. Is everyone clear on that? Okay? No one in this room, including myself, is smart enough to sit there and just write an essay off the top of the head. Is everyone clear? I'm not saying as we go, you're going to get faster at planning and you're going to have less words down, but you still have to sit there and pull your thoughts together because that is what good writers do. Is everyone clear on that? Okay. What you're going to do is you're going to put the blank sheet of paper on top of your essay, which will have the planning on the bottom. Do that now. Blank paper, essay, then planning. Nothing else should be on your desk. Put your prompts away. You don't need anything else except for your crayons, of course. Now, you are going to hand your blank sheet of paper, your essay, and your planning to someone who has not touched any of your stuff this week. Go. Quickly, quickly. Guys, you're wasting your own time. Just putting that out there. Just putting that out there. Okay, so what you need to do right now is we are writing out, thank you very much. We are writing out our rubric. So, Alex, what's the problem? Alex, are you okay? Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on that blank sheet of paper, you are writing exactly what I am writing. So if I'm writing it down, so are you. Okay. I'm going to draw a line, and you're going to write blanks essay. Okay, they can write their name in. If you can spell it correctly, you can write their name in. That's totally fine. This is essay. What number did you have to write last night?
4.
Number 4. Number 4 stimulus. If you don't know how to spell their name, just leave it blank. That's why I gave you the option of writing it blank. There you go. All right, here we go. So, essay number 4. So, it had an A. So, for A, you needed to have a topic sentence. A topic sentence. You had to correctly identify historical situation. You had to provide evidence. And you had to provide analysis. Analysis connects to Conrad's book. B. Topic sentence. Correctly identify one argument Provide evidence, analysis, proves Jews did not cause spread. So hopefully you made that. C. Topic sentence. Correctly identify influence of disease on urban areas. Provide evidence. And then finally, analysis. Explains analysis explains why/how disease impacted cities or urban areas. Okay, these are your points, ladies and gentlemen. You get 2 points. 2 points. 2 points. 2, 4, 6. 4 points. Ladies and gentlemen, which is the most valuable thing? There you go. So you get 2 points. 2 points. 2 points. 4 points. You get 2 points. 2 points. 2 points. 4 points. Okay, so the grand total is how many? 30 points. Okay, you can get partial credit. Okay, so for your 4 points, you can get 1, 2, 3, or 4. So you can get partial points. Okay, there is no partial points for topic sentence. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is no partial points for correct. Now, there is a trigger here. If you don't correctly identify historical situation, guess what? You get a 0. Then it causes a waterfall of? Do we see that? We understand, because if you don't correctly identify the historical situation, the evidence you're providing is 0 because it's wrong. And then how can something that's wrong do what it's supposed to do? Is everyone clear on that? So it can cause a trigger effect. So if you correctly identify 2, you can still get wrong evidence, yes? And you can partially get points on analysis. But if you don't get this correct, now what is the easiest points on the table? Topic sentence. If you have the topic sentence, it should be the easiest 2 points on the table. Is everyone clear on that? Okay? So what I would like you to do is now at the bottom, you are going to write your name. At the very bottom, you are writing your name so I know who is grading it. Okay, let's do it. So, take out your crayons. We're going to do things just a little bit differently. We're not going to color the whole thing. Okay, so correctly, when you provide evidence, you're going to circle it, and you're going to circle the term only. Okay? Does that make sense? Hello? Okay, so you're only going to circle and color the actual term. Okay? Like if they have like a specific term, like they use a city or something. Analysis, you are going to color in because that's where you get all the points. Is everyone clear? Hello? Okay, so for analysis, you are going to color in completely. And then for your correctly identify, you are going to just put a box around it. Is everyone clear on it? So that is going to streamline. So you're going to put a box around identify historical situation. So for question number 1, for 4A, the answer is bubonic plague, yes? So when you see bubonic plague, you're just going to put a red box around it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you are going to begin reading their part A now. You are not reading anything else. You are reading. I'd like you to read, because we are scoring this for actual genuine points. Can we agree? One that requires some finesse and some understanding. I'd like you to read it first, then go back. Okay? So read only A first. Just read it straight through, and then go through and start analyzing. We're going to talk our way through it. This is our first actual scoring. No one should be coloring anything. No one should have any color pencils or crayons in their hand. You are simply reading their A. Once you've read the whole thing, then you're going to go through. Okay, so let's talk real quick. For A, describe. So what would be, who has a good topic sentence in front of them? Who has a good one? Benjamin, read it.
The historical situation in which Conrad Menenberg wrote his book on is the bubonic plague, more commonly referred to as the Black Death.
That's a beautiful answer. So your answer should sound very similar to that, does it? If it does, circle 2 points on the rubric. Or give them 2 points, however you want to do it. I don't care. Okay? But make sure they know that they get the 2 points. Okay. What is some evidence? So now that you've read through, okay, what is some good looking evidence that you're seeing in your essay? Anyone have a good piece of evidence? Abby?
Ben was talking about Paxman.
Oh, we don't need to put them out there, but you're just going to read it to me what their evidence says.
He said the Mongol the Mongol Empire united numerous nations in a period called Pax Mongolia, where nations were also united under one trade route, the Silk Roads. And then he went on to explain how that led to the spread of the
Okay, perfect. So, using Pax Mongolia and the fact that the Mongols are going to facilitate the Silk Road under one unified thing, and that's going to facilitate worldwide trade, that is a bomb answer. Okay? Does everyone, if your answer sounds similar to that, it does not have to be Mongols. Is everyone clear on that? There are different avenues you could have written about. Who has something else that's good? Come on. No one else. Did everyone write about the Mongols? What do you got, Max?
Alright, this person said the bubonic plague affected many places on the Silk Road, especially Europe, where it led to a major decline in Sufism and the end of feudalism due to the direct population decrease in the 1300s.
What's their evidence specifically? The Silk Road?
Yes.
No. Silk Road's 2. No. Evidence is 2. 0. But they can still get the analysis. It's not like they're horribly wrong. Does that make sense? They don't have anything specific. You know what I mean? Okay, Pax Mongolia is why the Mongols scored. Do we understand that? Yes? Something you had to go out of your way to learn in this class? All right, what else we got? Anyone else got a good one? No one else. Hello? Hello? What do you got, girl?
She said the Mongols would catapult dead bodies ridden with the plague into territories that they wanted to conquer.
Yeah, it does score. Are they talking about the facilitation of the Black Plague?
Well,
Like moving
that's
it?
how it spread.
Okay. Well, that's one avenue, but sure, that would score. Yes. What do you got?
They talk about the caravanserai.
Caravanserai? Oh, the hotel for what? For facilitating trade?
Yeah.
Which is carrying the Black Plague. Are they continually picking it up? Then that would score, yeah. All right. Analysis. So you have to connect it back to the book. Okay? Wrote his book. So you have to tie it to the fact that it's not the Jews' fault. I told you this is trickier than you think. So, in their analysis, You have to say something about the Jews and acknowledge the Jews. Now, it's not all or nothing. If they come up with a really good connection but they don't mention the Jews, they can only get up to 2 points. Is everyone clear on that? You can only get 3 and 4 points if you make the connection back to the Jews. Is everyone clear on that? Okay? So, who here has a 4 out of 4 for analysis? Benjamin.
Because of the anti-Semitic behaviors already being normalized by the plague hitting Europe around the same time, caused people to blame the Jews for it. This gave people even more reason to drive out the Jews.
Yes! Who is this wonderful? Oh, that's my girl. That's my girl. Hey, Abby. That's beautiful. You see how she pulled up anti-Semitic, yes? Guys, you have to tie it back to the prompt. The whole prompt is about anti-Semitism. So if you're not connecting it back to the anti-Semitism, did you answer? No. So for the analysis, if they do not tie it back to the Jews, the highest they can get is a 2. Is everyone clear on that? Remember, if you steal points from me, I'm stealing points from you, yeah? So they can still get up to 2 points for tying it back to the Black Plague. You can tie it if you talk about how he's a German and the Germans are going to be really wiped out. Fine, fine, fine. But you have to tie it back to the prompt. You can only get 4 points if you mention anti-Jews. What do you got?
Well, I have a question.
Sure.
Their analysis was kind of like in between other pieces of evidence.
Like they just kept adding evidence?
Yeah, well, like they did evidence and then they did like an analysis and then they did more evidence.
They're kind of just showing off. Is that what it looks like?
No, but.
Well, no, I
They
mean.
did it, but it's just like in the middle.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, did they get 4 points?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, in your analysis, it might make sense to add other pieces just to prove your analysis is correct. That's fine. All right. So right now, everyone should have scored A. Is that correct? Everyone has a total on their rubric. Yes? What?
For evidence, do you just want to circle?
Yeah, just circle the one piece of evidence. Like Campasari, you can do Pax Mongolia. And in the example we heard earlier, that would score. Does that make sense? You're just circling it because we're trying to streamline, getting faster. We're moving to B. Ladies and gentlemen, you are just going to read first. Do not do anything. You're just reading B. Go. What?
If something like doesn't score, you don't have to circle anything, right?
Yeah, it doesn't score. Yeah, you're only circling what scores. You are only reading. No one should be coloring in anything, circling anything, right, Ben? No one's coloring or circling anything. You're reading. Okay, once you finish reading it once through, you are then going to do your underlining, your highlighting, your circling, and you're putting things in boxes. All right, so question number 2 is all about describe one argument that Conrad and Menberg makes regarding the Jewish people and the spread of diseases. What is one of the arguments he makes in the piece? Come on. Hi, you have answers in front of you. Shouldn't be that hard. Isabel.
One argument that Conrad makes regarding Jewish people and the spread of the disease is they would not hurt their own people by starting and spreading the disease.
Perfect. That is one of his arguments. Perfect. That is a correct argument. That's a 2-pointer right there. What else you got, Victoria?
One argument that Conrad of Mengenberg
Whatever.
says regarding the Jewish people and spread of the disease is areas where Jews were driven out years ago were still affected by the plague.
Perfect. Okay. Everyone's clear on what the argument should be, yes? Katie? It could be in part of the topic sentence for sure. You may also pull it through. It should be in the topic sentence, obviously. Yes. Okay. Evidence. What is some evidence you're seeing in this piece? Come on now. What is some evidence here? Come on. What do you got? Benjamin.
Talking about caravanserai and how
Whoa. What?
How
What's their argument?
that the Mongols spread it, not the Jews.
Okay.
And that they explain how it started in East Asia and united all the Eastern nations under Pax Mongolia, and then
They didn't use the same argument as before, right? It's a different argument. Okay, but you really have to talk about did they tie in the analysis? Are they tying it back to the Jews?
Yes.
Okay, then it would score. Anyone else have an argument? If you also don't think it does the score, Bennett, you can raise your hand and ask me, and I'll happily tell you. Is everyone clear on that? You look confused, Matt. What can I help you with?
What he says about the Jews that were driven out of Europe and they fled to Eastern Europe as they're being driven out, and then they got kicked out, and the disease still spread.
Okay, what's the evidence?
That's all they said.
Then they have correctly identified the historical situation. They would not score the evidence part. The analysis is not quite there yet. Because you can't answer the question unless you're saying, hey, this is, the Jews were driven out of France, for instance, yes, okay? And then you should have said that the plague arrived in France and the 1300s or in Paris. Does that make sense? Paris at a specific time. You could have said, Katie, what do you got?
If they don't even mention them in the articles.
It can't score because it's in the, it should have been in the topic sentence, correct?
Yeah.
It should have been in the argument, right?
Yeah.
He should have been referenced in the argument. They may be able to prove it.
Yeah.
They should only get about half. Because if they're not referring back to how Jews did not spread it, which is part of the, did they?
Yeah.
Okay, so half points then. Because they're not acknowledging the full argument. Does that make sense?
Like half the whole thing.
Because I'll give up to 3 points. But they can't get a 4. Is that fair? Yeah. I think that's fair. Because they have to acknowledge where this is coming from. Tula.
So for their evidence, they just like define what diaspora is?
No, that's, diaspora would score as evidence, but no. If they just define it, that's not analysis and that's not connecting. What do you got?
They just talk about how the Mongols spread it on the Silk Road using the caravan.
No, that's weird. Did they tie it back to the Jews in Europe at all?
Yeah, in the analysis. It says that the Mongols spread it using the caravan.
Did they make the argument in the first part? Did they? Is it the same argument as A or different?
Different.
Fine. It's not great, but fine. Ben?
They say that the Jews wouldn't kill people of the same faith, but then after they talk about the Mongols.
That makes no sense. It doesn't even support their own argument, so no. So take away their analysis. 0. What?
In the analysis, they tie it back to like their argument and like explain why it wasn't the Jews, but they don't specifically say it's the Jews in it. So
How can they talk about how it's not the Jews, but not
well,
say the word the
they're
Jews?
arguing that it was the Mongols who spread it.
But the whole point is that you're trying to prove the Jews aren't.
So how many?
So half. Okay. What?
It's just like simply saying, like, as the topic sentence.
No.
Argument that the Jews didn't spread the disease. Is that?
That's their topic sentence.
Well, that's like the point at the end of the topic sentence.
I mean, it's not great, so I'd give them 1 point out of it. What?
I think I have fun.
What?
What was like the most correct evidence you used there?
I would say the forcing of Muslims out, forcing of Jews out of Western Africa, where they will go ahead and join the Muslim Empire and Spain.
But how
And
does
that-
tie to them not spreading?
Because they've already been removed, and I would say Paris, Venice, Italy, and all that stuff are still experiencing these, even though the Jews have fled already to the Moors.
So we can say they were kicked out into diaspora
But
communities.
I'm providing evidence for the where they're going. Does that make sense? So the removal, I am answering part of the prompt as the removal of the Jews. They're going to Al-Andalus in Spain. Does that make sense? So that they're joining Al-Andalus and thriving in the Cordova court system is my evidence for this. Does that make sense? So their removal is now, then I can talk and address about the issues of with their removal, we're still seeing Western Europe is still experiencing these problems. Katie.
So you talked about like their trading community, like didn't they have diasporic, like,
Mm-hmm.
so could you say that?
Yeah, diasporic was scored, for sure. But you have to, diasporic is the evidence, fine, using that term, as long as you're really connecting it back. So I would have used Al-Andalus, the Muslims being pushed towards the Muslim states of Al-Andalus in Spain, and that would have vacated Western Europe, and Western Europe is still being riddled. That would have been my proof to show that Western Europe has been eradicated. What do you got?
If they said like anti-Semitism and how Jews were demonized, would that count as like evidence?
No, they haven't said anything. It's too vague. Do you see how there's no like key term that says, they know what they're saying? Yeah?
Well, it was like how Jews were like being like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, they're just saying things, they're not proving it, so no. All right, everyone has scored B, yes? On your rubric, let's go to C. So, topic sentence, you're correctly identifying the influence of the disease on the urban cities, ladies and gentlemen. So the prompt, this one, I do think is the harder one. Describe one way in which the disease referred to in the passage influenced the development of urban areas in the period of 1350 to 1450. Okay, you have to refer to the bubonic plague, and you have to come up with key evidence. Remember, you should be reading first, and no one should be having a color in their hand. You're just reading their essay. Then you're going back to try to hand them points after you read it the first time. What do you got?
So on the rubric, you have us like grading it based on if they identify like the influence of the disease on urban areas.
Yes.
Was it not asking like how it influenced the development of urban areas?
Yes, that's where it should be leading, for sure. So it should be talking, if you're talking about the demise, it can score. But how it affects like them going forward is what we're really looking for. Now, am I going to be so staunch and really score harshly on that? It's very hard to do when your guys aren't used to scoring in that fashion. Does that make sense? So if we were doing this essay later in the year, we'd be making sure it's looking forward, not backward. Yes? Okay? But right now we're not. Victoria?
What if they say, like, they talk about how it, like, how the population, like, boomed and then how it went down? Like, how they first explained, like...
That's fine. If they're showing the evolution of it, it will score. What do you got?
Would the three-field system count as
No. Three-field system is happening before it. And that's farming. And how is that affecting urban areas? Urban areas are cities, not farms. What do you got?
If they said like changing the economic system, would that score?
No, because it's no evidence.
Or
Change-
like for the topic sentence?
Okay, so give me the whole sentence, please.
Okay, so a way in which the bubonic plague influenced the development of urban areas between 1350 and 1450 as they're changing the economic system.
No, that's not like an answer. No, doesn't score. Guys, you can't just say changing economic systems. That's like a non-answer. Can we agree? Hello? Bitcoin has changed the economic system. But if I say, like that's a vague answer, so it does not score. They can earn points the other way. It's not like they wrote Harry Potter or something. But if their evidence can kind of clean that up, and then they can do the analysis on more of the evidence, and the rest of it will score. So it's not a 0 across the board. Dawson. Who has a good answer? Hold on, Dawson. I'm going to answer your question. Who has a good one in front of them that they read and they're like, damn. No one has a good one? They all suck? What do you got, Ben?
The plague influenced the development of urban areas in the period of 1350 to 1450 by ending feudalism. The plague killed over 25 million Europeans, which left a small number of farmers to tend the land and grow food. Because of this increased labor demand. Farmers demanded pay for their work. The government then became more centralized and ended feudalism. Farmers no longer reported to lords and made money, which caused economic growth. With more money, more people are involved in trade, which increases the migration to urban areas since there is often hubs for commerce.
Who is it? Tula. That's a beautiful answer. Now, I would like it known that her answer is long as hell, yeah? Yes? Yes? That's the only way I'll accept the end of feudalism. Do you see how she's proving, yes, how feudalism ending by saying feudalism ends? That's a shit answer. That is a bomb answer. If you have a person who has the end of feudalism and it doesn't sound just like that, it will not score. Is everyone clear on that? Tula? It's beautiful. So well done, girl. Congrats. Very well done. All right, what do you got?
Did we write about like how they lack nutrition in the manorial system and then got wiped out easily because of the plague and the little ice age?
The manorial system is the economic system of feudal
Or
rulers.
not manorial,
And-
but they just like lack nutrition and then the little ice age hit and then.
Well, the Ice Age predates your Black Plague. One way the disease influenced the development of urban areas. No, that won't score. Katie.
Can you say China, like, their population is that high? China, like, their population is.
Yeah, you could totally talk about China. Why wouldn't you talk about China? For sure. It's not saying disease referred to the passage influenced the development of urban areas. It doesn't say in Europe. You can do anywhere. I would have gone to China. For sure. Because it's going to cause the collapse of the Yuan Dynasty. Completely collapses. Okay? And China will not economically recover from it. It will also implement a new dynasty called the Ming. And the Ming are not going to have as centralized government as prior. It's not going to be as centralized. It's going to have lots of fragmented components to it. China is never going to be as powerful as they were pre-Mongols ever again. Okay?
So we're not talking about development?
The development, the prompt says, influence the development of urban areas in the period. So the development of, so you can talk about how with the Chinese, because remember, we're not being as clear as we would be if we were doing this in a second. So you're just talking, what I'm really looking for is just talking about how urban areas are affected.
Okay.
Now, development of, ideally would be that there would be a pause in Western Europe's development due to the Black Plague. You could talk about how there's a complete halt in China due to it, tied to the collapse of the yuan, due to the rise of the Ming, who are no longer going to be pushing technology and the evolution of trade. Those would be the best of the answers. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But as long as we're talking about urban at this point, because remember, we're only in our first week of doing it, yes? So we're trying to get there. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, you should have your C scored, is that correct? Then you are going to total up your score out of 30. Do that now. At the bottom, by your name, you're going to write 2 positive things about the essay, 1 piece of constructive criticism. Those 2 pieces, you should say things like, your evidence for part C was fantastic. It was super clear and very effective at conveying your point. Those are the types of positive feedback I want. If you're just writing, great job, you're doing it wrong. So, everyone should be writing 2 positive things and 1 piece of constructive criticism. When we're talking about constructive criticism, it is things they can literally improve upon right now. If their handwriting is hard to read, they need to know that. Because if the grader can't read it, you can't get scored. If they're awfully wordy or not specific enough, they need to know that. You lost points on C because it wasn't very explicit what you meant. Okay, 5, 4, 3. That's a nice breeze right there. 2, 4. No, let it fall. Okay, what you are doing right now is I am passing around a stapler. You are going to staple the rubric on top of the essay, on top of the planning. Go. As soon as you get that stapler, that's priority 1. Drop everything and staple. Do that now. In a and go talk to the person you graded and give them their feedback. Go. Everyone should have their essay in their hands. Is everyone clear on that? Everyone should have their own essay in their hands so you can see your score. Please listen. Okay. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you do not agree with this score, anytime we do a peer grading and you're like, I got screwed, Bennett, you need to come see me right away. Is everyone clear on that? Peer grading is really important because it allows you to see what the grader is actually looking for, what it looks like in other people's essays. It's a really important skill and it's something we're going to be working throughout the whole year. However, mistakes get made, yes? Okay? So, I will be making mistakes grading, you'll make mistakes grading, and if you ever fear that you are unfairly being judged in your essays, then you need to bring it right to me and I will score it myself personally. Is everyone clear on that? Now, if you feel like if it's a 30 point and you feel like they took off 1 point and they shouldn't have, can we leave that alone? 1 point isn't going to kill you, can we agree? Think of how many free points you got this week, okay? 1 point. But if you got a bunch of points off, okay, and you don't feel like that's fair, then that is exactly what you need to do is bring it to my attention. Is everyone clear on that? So, if you ever feel like you are being unfairly judged by a peer, then you need to bring it straight to me and I will happily fix it for you. Is everyone clear on that? Alright, please listen up. You are going to bring up your essay when I say go. You're going to put it on this table. Can I have your essay? You're going to put your essay here, and you are going to grab your primary, your map, and your focus for next week. Have you ever been so happy to see these? So, some of them have been stapled, some of them haven't. So, I have, hello, listen, I don't want to yell because I'm tired and I have a migraine, which is why my hair is down. Okay. Please listen. I had a student offer to help me make copies, and it was wonderful and fabulous, but she printed everything on separate pages. So, your focus is fine because I made that. But your primary is 2 pages, and your map is 2 pages. So, if you aren't one of the lucky ones to get a stapled copy, because I have them stapling up here, then you need to staple your own. Is everyone clear on that? Yes? So hashtag blessed if you can get a staple. Okay? And if you don't, okay, so your essay is going here. Your focus is here. Those are all stapled. Okay? And then your map. Some of them are stapled. If it's not stapled, then you need to staple it yourself. Yes? Alright. Feast. Go.
That's staple.
Guys, make sure if you're grabbing a stapled one, hi, pay attention. If you're grabbing a stapled one, that's fine. If have idiots. I already have idiots. You've messed it up. Someone has only one page of their private. I can't. Idiots.
Ah.
Idiots.
Right.
Idiots. Yep, idiots. Idiots. Idiots.
We're all idiots.
Why wouldn't you grab the stapled one, dude?
Wait, which ones?
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you for proving my point. It'll be here tomorrow. You have no homework, so if it's not there, if you don't have it, you're fine. Goodbye. Idiots.
Isn't this fun, Miss Bennett?
No, no. My anxiety is through the roof for no reason, because you people aren't listening. Ugh.
Okay, it may have actually like been this bad, but can we just look at mine?
Yes.
It may have actually like been that bad. I just want to know.
I mean, I'm not looking at it right now. You know that, yeah?
I know.
Wait, Miss Bennett, should I
Yes,
just
sir.
stay if I want you to look at this?